The state of Michigan is known for many things, like the Great Lakes shorelines, diverse communities, and historic cities. Most are familiar with Detroit's claim to fame as an automotive giant and R&B music mecca, and a few more are familiar with the city of Ann Arbor's two crown jewels. First is the University of Michigan, founded in August 26, 1817 in Detroit and relocating to Ann Arbor in 1837, where the nation's brightest students study business, engineering, and medicine, and also where top athletic talent find glory and fame as part of U of M's second crown jewel, the historic football team, the Wolverines. Today, the University of Michigan is making history yet again as home of the Midwest University Blockchain Conference, brings together from across the country to build community and opportunity around the future of Web3 technology.
You guys know the drill by now. We're here on campus at the University of Michigan at their Ross School of Business, where today they are bringing together over 750 plus students, 30 plus schools from across the nation to have their second annual Midwest Blockchain Conference. This is a very unique conference in terms of the landscape of blockchain conferences because it's completely student-centered, and we have everybody from Coinbase to Galaxy to Gemini to come from across the nation to participate, communicate, and build community around blockchain, getting on-chain, and what the future of all of these, not only financial tech capacities and possibilities look like, but other innovations as well. But we'll also be talking to a lot of students to see why they think a conference like this is important and what they're excited about. All right, everybody. As you guys know, I am Keisha Ann, the MF Connector, and I am here with Daisy Guevara, representative of Detroit's or Ann Arbor stand with Crypto Chapter. They have a large hand kind of in today's event. They have a new initiative called College.xyz that we'll be exploring a little bit. And again, they just do a ton of work in the city, city of Detroit and state of Michigan, helping blockchain kind of be, cultivated, understanding and awareness around it, be developed, and really just supporting and amplifying the builders here. So Dave, kind of first talk to me a little bit about yourself. Talk to me about how you got involved in crypto, kind of like what brings you, to Web3.
Yeah, so my name is Daisy. I got involved in crypto, just kind of hearing about the different digital innovations that were kind of happening, through word of mouth online and social media. And of course, I was trying to find events in my local area and found out through Luma about a Stammer crypto event that was happening in Los Angeles. So I decided to go, got connected with a bunch of awesome, crypto representatives, people who are working really hard in crypto, doing a bunch of different things, with policy and in the community. And through those talks, I was still in university at the time, but I recently graduated and I got to connect with someone who's the community manager. His name is Mason. And we started talking about all of my experiences in crypto, some of the partnership jobs that I've done, and we started spinning up a college university program, which is our college chapter program. And now we're here in Michigan, and yeah, we're at the Michigan Blockchain Conference, trying to get students to come and join our chapter program and get more involved in Michigan and all that.
And let's talk about why these events are important, right? Obviously, Stanford Crypto is kind of unique. With Michigan chapter is kind of unique in developing that College XYZ initiative. That's not something that's native to all of the chapters. Why was that important to develop, and why are events like today's event at the School of Business here, Ross School of Business, why is that necessary for the space?
Yeah, it's extremely important because as time moves on, crypto obviously keeps on booming, and we need a middleman to find these opportunities for students. And Stanford Crypto obviously has spent a lot of time trying to go to each individual state and kind of get the community going and excited about all the things that are going on, trying to find pro crypto policymakers or pro crypto policy writers who are passionate about engaging with the community, especially students. And students are that one group of people who are very curious and very eager to try and learn new things. So we're excited to partner with them because they're the people who actually want to take advantage of this opportunity. And College XYZ has established this awesome community of students that are already eager to come in and work with us.
Take advantage of the opportunity and take advantage of the technology. Blockchain is just now coming up on 16 years old, right? Still a high school student, not old enough to drink in itself, right? But there's definitely a maturation process that's happening.
Yeah.
And so ironic, but I guess true to a lot of things in life, right? And in society, it is the youth that kind of you need to help make it mature and lead it on to the next, stage. And I think that it's something with a community as diverse as the University of Michigan student base is, right? In a community as diverse university colleges are becoming across the nation. I think it's really interesting to also kind of like siphon those ideas, create safe spaces for those ideas and insights to kind of be, amplified, and for those conversations to be held from different perspectives. I have with me Grace Reginato of Gemini. Gemini's been making a lot of waves. Of course, you might have heard of their financial services or their credit card.
Yes, offer stock and crypto.
Yes, I've seen your big, billboards out in Texas and stuff like that. And these guys are always around at a lot of blockchain conferences. But as you guys know, the Midwest Blockchain Conference is a little bit different because this year it is student center. So, Grace, first talk to me kind of, I always like to ask the ladies, because people always like to ask me, how did you find yourself here in this industry, and kind of like, what was your path to get to the country?
Totally. It was a little bit random. I was 10 months out of college. Okay. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I know that I wanted just to try things and have opportunities. I wanted to kind of see where I could get my paws on, and so I wanted to work for a startup company. I interviewed at Gemini. I loved everyone. I loved the mission. I loved everyone I spoke to, and so it was kind of like a happy accident. And I've been here for almost 4 years now, and I can't imagine not being in this industry.
And what has been the most exciting thing or motivating thing for you as you stayed inside of it? What are things that consistently motivated?
Yes, every idea I've had, I just stuck my hand up, and I've been able to have ownership from that day. And again, I was 22 when I started. I didn't know a thing about a thing. And now I run the internship program at Gemini, all of our early careers recruiting. And what's most motivating to me is seeing the impact my interns can make. I've seen interns, I've seen one over there. He owned the swap tab on Gemini's wallet, a self-custodial wallet, so he's led that whole stack. I've had interns help with the first to market launch for tokenized stocks in the EU. So I just get to watch them flourish. And it's really inspiring.
And talk to me more about that, right? You're managing, kind of cultivating these interns, cultivating the intern program. Why is it important that, Gemini be here today? Why is it important that events like this center students? Talk to me kind of about your feelings about that.
Totally. I mean, for someone with my job, this is my Olympics. I don't think I've slept in weeks. I'm so excited to be here. I hope that majority of our hiring comes from this conference. We want people who are involved, passionate about the space. I think the first thing my founders said to me when we were growing this program is that they have to be in the industry. So people here showing us to be here and to be a part of these clubs, you're already showing us that you're a self-starter, which is vital to being successful at Gemini. Yeah. So I'm trying to snatch them all up.
What you do what brings you here today?
Okay, I have a company called Building the Future, and we focus on AI, blockchain development, and consensus. We also have workshop and educational. I think people are still exploring what it means, so there's a lot of opportunity for development and exploration.
I say to her, what I say to her, what does she think of me? I'm not what I have to be. Every single night's alive with love.
Guys, I'm here with Lexi Foskey from Texas Tech. She's here with us, and remember we told you that today's conference is bringing about 750 students from across 30 universities in the country. Lexi, tell me, what are you guys doing here? What brings you to, Michigan?
I'm a part of the Crypto Org at Texas Tech. WA actually brought us here through their sponsors that for all of the students that were wanting to come to be able to come and experience this, learn. Ultimately, it really is a learning experience. That's what it was pushed as is just a great opportunity for students to see what the space has for them, what they can bring to it or take away, and then be able to bring more to it.
And Texas actually has a lot going on. Coinbase just came to town, right? We have some other things happening in the great state of Texas with crypto. There are a lot of tax benefits for that thing. For you as a student who's kind of looking towards the future, what do you kind of see your role in on-chain being or in Web3 being, and what do you think that's going to have an impact on your future as?
Oh, I think Web3 is going to impact literally everything in a sense of like our daily lives, is how we like interact with things, travel, let alone not the currency side of it, but just like job positions as well, what's going to get filled, what's going to have to adapt to be able to still remain in the space. So
yeah. And why do you think that events ultimately that center students such as yourself are important and that bring you guys across, from across really the nation? Why are things like this important for the sector at large, for the future of the industry, really?
I think it's important for students to get exposure that they may not receive from just like what they're consuming on their own. So just having that exposure where it's like centered to get them the information that is vital, current, and helpful for them. So I think that's what these conferences really bring to the table.
Kabir from Polymarket, which you guys know, Polymarket is one of the first, if not the first, real prediction market. They kind of had their claim to fame with the elections and in terms of being able to, get that so accurate. And ever since then, the trajectory has just been crazy. Now we have seen other companies pop up. I guess some competitors, right? But we've also seen a lot of entities get into prediction markets and start to talk about what that means. So, first let's talk about you, right? Talk to me about what you do with Polymarket, what your role is, and kind of how you found your way to, Web3.
Sure, so happy to. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm very, very excited to be at the Midwest Block Conference today. That's been super awesome. I work on growth at Polymarket, so I keep telling people, a lot of people don't realize that Polymarket is a very, very small team. When I joined just a few months ago, I think we're at wow, which is wild. They would never guess that was it. So I'd say that we'll wear a lot of different hats, but I work on that is a lot on our college outreach and partnerships. Right now, our big focus is on the US app, which is launching on Sunday.
Okay.
So it is, thank you so much. We're really excited for the US app. We launch in the US. With multi clients, and so now we have a bunch of people working on it out, and yeah, like that's fun.
Also, talk to me about you personally, right? You said you joined Polymarket team a few months ago. Kind of what were you doing before then, and what's been your trajectory up until now?
Sure. So I actually worked on a consumer tech app for the past 2 years, and my work was doing a consumer experience in product marketing, and also college outreach with my people for the users. And I was recruited to Polymarket essentially, so it's kind of called
Web3 specific.
Yeah, exactly. It's like those feel very that place. Yeah. But yeah, so there's my background in growing as well as the team and help the team in Polymarket, and I've been involved in super exciting about it. Obviously, we've had some really great partnerships now, and I think good. Tell us one, a bunch of others that I think people should be super, super excited about. But a lot of my work is going to be around college outreach and really connecting with young people who are building on Polymarket, trading on Polymarket, or just watching Polymarket. I think a lot of people I know and I meet might have not used Polymarket before. Maybe they aren't familiar with the crypto side of things, but they're just watching it because it's better than usual. Not to hit on the news at all, but it is a very accurate predictor after what's up.
Yeah, and obviously this University of Michigan Midwest Blockchain event is significant because it centers the students, right? And it really kind of like amplifies them and brings them and their insight to the forefront. How do you think the intersection of youth and social, progress, right, and Polymarket as a tool, kind of what does that collision look like? And how do you think Polymarket kind of represents the voice of the youth as they come up with predictions?
Right, so I'd say that first and foremost, our team is very young. Shane is like 27 years old. Wow, he's one of the biggest billionaires in the country. He'll never really mention that though. He's a very humble person. But he started building this 5 years ago. Right? So he was around the age of a lot of students who are at this conference today. And I think what we're seeing is a lot of the best young people. I mean, if you meet any of the people in this conference, they're all going to be building on whether it's Polymarket or Solana or whatever they need. And it's super, super exciting.
So everybody, we are back with Sterling Cobb. He's also visiting here today at the UMM for the Midwest Blockchain University Conference. And Sterling, talk to me about what you do, what you got going on. Are you Ann Arbor based?
Pontiac, Metro Detroit area.
Okay, what do you think about the future of Midwest, Web3 innovation, being a hub for, I always think of agriculture, right? A lot of crops come right here in the middle of the country. I'm from Indianapolis, so obviously I'm from the country, right? I think about ways of things like agriculture and change, and start to get a bit, outside of this conversation of fintech, right? But for you, what do you kind of think that future looks like, and how do you think Midwest show about things?
Well, really, in my opinion, it's uphill battle because when you see new businesses or new ideas coming to fruition, and we have DC come close to because California is very beautiful. New York is another home. Or even down south, Florida is trying to become like a central hub. So when you think about Michigan or even the Midwest, you think, oh, not as fun. But it's like, what can we do to promote better vision, keeping people even in Michigan or in the Midwest area, the moment they create something that has legs, they just take those legs. What do we decide to do this year?
Yeah, branding is such an interesting concept, right? Which obviously, like communication in the industry in general, has a marketing problem. We've kind of known that, which is also what makes it interesting that, the youth are still so extremely people have been able to kind of captivate the minds of the college students, right? Because we know that Web3 has had a marketing problem. But I think you posed a very interesting point about the Midwest also kind of needs to breed itself a bit better and, position itself a bit better in that conversation.